Okay, so welcome back to OG's Kitchen. Today we're going to be preparing, marinating, and cooking arrachera or skirt steak, the meat that most people use for making fajitas. So what we're going to do first of all is marinate, and if you're going to go to the store and buy this, I'd suggest that you get it from a butcher. Have them clean it, run it through a machine, and that breaks down the tissue and it tenderizes the meat. If you buy it in the packs, sitting in the meat counter there, it might not be prepared. It might not have run the thing through a machine to break down that the tissue. So it might be a little tougher. I would suggest the butcher and have them clean it, run through the machine. Okay, so here's what you're going to need. You're going to need some salt, virgin oil, if olive oil, bottle or can of beer, some oregano, some cumin, some red pepper, about 3 limes, and about a half a cup of cilantro. And you're going to need a blender. Okay, so the first thing we probably want to do here is let's do these limes. I'm using 3 limes for this particular recipe, and go ahead and squeeze those right into the blender. Well, some limes are more juicier than others, but you should probably wind up with a third to a half a cup of lime juice. And at this point, we might as well add a bottle of beer or a can of beer, your favorite beer. And we're going to add about, let's see what we're calling for here, about a teaspoon of salt or so. And we're going to add about, to be called for, about 2 teaspoons of cumin. And we're going to add 3 cloves of garlic. Let me just trim these off a little bit. I don't want to get the ends. Throw those right in your blender and get those. Now we're going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and we're going to add about 1 teaspoon of your oregano, and I'm just going to go ahead and get that in my hand here. And we're going to have a little cayenne pepper, and we're going to add about a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And let's go ahead and mix all that up. You're going to need a big bowl to put that in, because we're also going to add our meat in here. So you can start out this way. You get that blended. Got about half a cup of cilantro we're going to add in there. And that's about it. Okay, so here we go. We have our skirt steak here, arrachera, and what we're going to do is just go ahead and, if there's any kind of lingering fat on here, you can clean that off. Get yourself a sharp knife and Most of the time they'll do this for you at the butcher's. They'll clean this. They'll clean most of this stuff off. If you have a little bit left on there, it's a little fat, a little grizzle or something, or skin. You can just go ahead and take that off just to give yourself a little clean. Now, most of the time you buy this skirt steak, they'll ask you how much they want, and they'll ask you if you want it cleaned, and by that it's removing all the silver skin or whatever's on there, and then they'll ask you if you want it run through a machine. Well, what the machine does is it puts little holes in the meat, and that tenderizes the meat, because a skirt steak can be pretty tough if you don't do that. So if they give you the option, go ahead and have them run through the machine. Then just go ahead and throw that in your marinade as you're going along. If for some reason you buy this meat, and they don't have a machine, you might have to get one of these tenderizers, just a little, and just, okay, well, there you go. Then all you want to do is soak all your meat in the marinade. There you go. Then basically what you want to do is just cover that up with some cellophane, and then just leave it sit overnight. Make sure about every 6 hours or so, if you think about it, take your bowl out and then just turn your meat over and make it around, and just squish it down in there, and make sure that all your meat is covered with your marinade. So okay, so we're starting to grill these things. The best way to do is get them as flat as you can get, and get 2 or 3 of them on there, and they're gonna go quick because they're pretty thin. So yeah, just flatten them out. What we're gonna do is let them cook. They're going to cook pretty quick on one side, and you can load up your grill. Just pay attention kind of to which ones you put on there first. So you want to put these things on high, and then put them on there, and then they're going to go pretty quick. You know, just open them up and keep them flat. Now, lots of going to depend on how you want those. You want them kind of rare or really well done. What we're doing is kind of cooking these things like a steak. If you like them rare, just go to, keep them rare. If you want them well done, make them well done. We're kind of cook these things kind of like medium. Like I say again, don't wash off your marinade, and you'll see that it's all going to be good. Okay, so now we finished grilling our meat, and what you want to do at this point is I'm going to show you how to cut these, because there is surprisingly a way to cut these. So what you want to do is take your meat here, and what you want to do is cut short grain. Always cut short grain, okay? So the way you do this is you see how the grain is running on your meat. And what you want to do is cut against that. So your meat will always be this way. And cut them about 3/4, maybe an inch at the most, and do it the same way. Always short grain. So there you go, how to marinate and grill fajita meat or skirt steak if you want to do that. Or arrachera if you want to call it that. It's all good. Again, if you're going to buy that meat in a pack, like I say again, you're going to have to pound it or do that before you put that in the marinade, obviously, otherwise you're going to have a mess. Best way to do is just buy it from the butcher and ask them if they have the machine to run that skirt steak through and tenderize it and clean it. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something from it, and we'll see you next time on OG's Kitchen. Thanks for watching.